Of autoimmune diseases. So here's the big question. What are these environmental factors, these environmental toxins in your situation? That's the million-dollar question, right? Properties. So how do you know if you have leaky gut or gut dysbiosis? Let me give you some symptoms that you can use to check and just think about your situation to see if you're experiencing any of these. One of the first signs of one of these conditions is food sensitivities, especially to foods that are not your standard foods that people have allergies to. For instance, nightshades. If you have food sensitivities to nightshades, or certain fruits, or certain vegetables, or certain healthy grains that are normally okay, things like this are a real certain sign that you have leaky gut or gut dysbiosis, or probably both. So another big sign that you have leaky gut or gut dysbiosis is rashes. Now, it's not 100% of the time, but it's a pretty likely possibility. If you're having psoriasis, if you're having eczema, then what that's saying is it's pretty likely that you have leaky gut or gut dysbiosis. Some other ones are fatigue, brain fog, severe mood swings, insomnia. All of these are really big signs of leaky gut. Now we want to go into the third step of how to reverse autoimmunity, nutrify. So the body is malnourished, and because of that, malnourished systems malfunction. Your systems are malfunctioning in your body because they are undernourished and they are susceptible and under attack. So the body needs the building materials to repair this lack of nutrition, and so you want high amounts, therapeutic amounts of nutrients. So there's two parts to this. You want a really clean diet, and also you want additional, on top of your diet, you want an additional high concentrated nutrition. Now, how do you do this? How do we achieve this? Well, let me show you. Heal the leaky gut. Now, leaky gut, in case you don't know, is when the walls of the small intestine become permeable. You see, the small intestine wall is lined with these little finger-like projections called villi. And these villi absorb nutrients. They also keep out toxins. And when these little villi get damaged, they either become flattened or they can become separated, and that creates this intestinal permeability that we're talking about. Now, this is devastating for the body because any undigested particles of food, any bad bacteria or viruses you may have been exposed to can now get through the gut, the walls of the gut, get into your bloodstream, and now have access to every part of your body, including your brain. And this causes a multitude of issues, and it's a foundational problem lying at the base of most autoimmune diseases that are occurring. Leaky gut is so common with autoimmune patients that if you have an autoimmune disease, you probably have leaky gut. So if you have leaky gut, what do? Well, I have found 7 natural therapies to heal leaky gut. And I want to show you 2 of my favorite right now. That's turmeric and aloe vera gel. Let me show you how to use these. So you see I have the aloe plant here, which we picked up at our local Whole Foods, and you just want to cut a cross section of it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. And all you need to do is take the knife and slice it between the meat and the bottom edge of the skin, and that will just open it right up, and you'll see all that meat there. And you could spend your time cutting it out. I'll show you how to do that, but I just like to eat it just like that. Aloe is amazing in its ability to heal wounds. It also heals a damaged gut. It heals, you could say, the wounds of your gut. And I used aloe and I saw improvement. Some people have a hard time with the consistency, so you could just put the gel in a blender with a little water and blend it up after you've cut it out of the skin and drink it that way. Now, after you're done eating your piece of aloe, you could just stick it in a container with water and let it sit on your counter. It will last this way for at least a month plus. Or if you don't want to, you could put that container in the fridge. It'll last a little bit longer. Another natural remedy I want to talk about is turmeric. So you could make a really great drink out of turmeric that you could take twice a day. And you want to start by getting 1/2 teaspoon of powdered turmeric and putting it in a glass. Now, turmeric is about 5% curcumin, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory component. It's so powerful, it's actually been used for pain and injuries, and it's been found to be just as effective as pain medications, but minus the damage to your organs like kidneys and the liver. So now you want to add about a 1/4 cup of water to that turmeric. It's more effective when taken with some kind of fat. So coconut milk is perfect since coconut is also good for autoimmunity. So you could just put a little spoonful of coconut milk in there. It's also good to put just a pinch of cayenne pepper in there, since cayenne pepper boosts the potency of curcumin in turmeric by 1000%. So you want to make sure and put that little dash of cayenne pepper in there. Now turmeric is bitter, so if you're a tough guy or a tough girl and you want to save time, you could just drink it straight. But if you're a bit of a lightweight when it comes to bitter things, you could add honey. And I suggest raw honey as the best option. And you could just take a spoonful, put it in there, mix it up. It's a little bit difficult to mix up, but you could do it if you just mix it a bunch. And drink it down, do it twice a day, and that is very healing to the small intestine, and it heals leaky gut. And that's because it's so anti-inflammatory in its
Our first ingredient is shea butter. And you want to make sure to use all natural, pure shea butter in this recipe. Our second ingredient is tea tree oil, and this is tea tree essential oil. Our next ingredient is lavender oil, and this is lavender essential oil. I'm using some aloe vera gel, and this is 100% pure aloe vera gel. And our final ingredient is vegetable glycerin. Now the first thing you want to do, you want to melt your shea butter. You can choose to melt this on a double boiler, or you can even choose to melt it in the microwave. If you don't have either, you can melt this in some hot water. It's just that it's going to take a little longer in the hot water, okay? Now this is about 3 tablespoons of melted shea butter. And I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vegetable glycerin. I'm using 1 teaspoon of the aloe vera gel. I'm going to use about 10 drops of the lavender oil. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm also going to be using about 10 drops of the tea tree oil. And next I'm going to mix this together, and I'm going to mix well. Now the aloe vera gel have a little water in it, so you're going to notice that you really have to mix it well. Oil and water don't mix well, so just keep mixing. You can also choose to blend this. If you blend this, it's going to be very light and very fluffy. Now to store this, you want to store it in a jar with an open mouth as this one. And you want to pour it in the jar while it is still hot. What is going to happen is it's going to cool, it's going to sleep, and it's going to be hard. Okay, so pour it while it's hot. So I'm going to pour mine. Make sure to get everything out. Now here is your eczema treatment. You're going to put this aside to cool, and once it is cooled, it is ready to use. Now you do not need to store this in your refrigerator. You could store this on your countertop. Now use this twice per day at least for best result. Now within a week you should notice a huge difference to your skin. However, within a month you should notice a significant difference to your skin. You can continue to use the treatment as often as you wish and as long as you wish to further clear your eczema. Okay? Now let's take a look at the ingredients.
20 patients with allergic eczema were placed on a vegetarian diet for 2 months, and their disease scores, covering both objective and subjective signs and symptoms, were cut in half, similar to what you see using one of our most powerful drugs. The drug worked quicker, within about 2 weeks, but since side effects may include kidney failure and cancer, the drug is considered a Class 1 carcinogen, the dietary option may be preferable, which are allergy-associated antibodies. Bottom line, they started out with 35 patients who had suffered from severe asthma, for an average of 12 years, all receiving long-term medication, 20 including cortisone, were subjected to vegan food for a year. In almost all cases, medication was withdrawn or drastically reduced. There was a significant decrease in asthma symptoms. Despite the improved lung function tests and lab values, the placebo effect obviously can't be discounted, since there is no blinded control group. But the nice thing about a healthy diet is that there are only good side effects. Right? Their cholesterol significantly improved, their blood pressures got better, they lost 18 pounds. So from a medical standpoint, I figure, why not give it a try?